Over the years, I've had a couple crazy night outs, and some where we pushed it a bit too far, leading to me getting completely blacked out. But before I get into that, the goal for today's video is to start decorating this house. Today I wanted to share some funny stories that I remember, or don't remember I guess, because I was blacked out. The first time I ever blacked out was actually the first time I ever got drunk. By this point I had drank a couple times before, but I just never got drunk. It's hard to become an inside joke within my friend group that I just physically can't get drunk. So keeping that in mind, the first story was based at my friend's birthday party. I think this was a 17th birthday party, and I think I've just admitted that I drank underage. So let's just say I was allegedly drinking at this party. There was a friend at that party that I owed a lot of money to, and what he told me was, if I get drunk at this party, he would cut my debt by half. That's how much my friends wanted me to get drunk. That's kind of crazy, you know? And that was a crazy offer, and I took him up for it. That is a huge painting. Oh my god, but I kind of like it. Oh, that's another huge painting, but I kind of like it again. Yo, some huge paintings, bro. So this birthday party started at the restaurant, and we made our way to his house, and that's when the drinks started flowing. Me and another friend, not the friend that said he'll cut the debt in half, but another friend, were drinking like we wanted to die. I don't know why we were doing this, but we were drinking like crazy. I'm saying shot after shot, and I think at the time we were drinking whiskey. And both of us were super inexperienced at the time, so I don't know what we were doing. But after 13 shots, it was quite obvious that my friend was very drunk. But I still wasn't feeling anything, until I realized that the world was kind of spinning, and the last thing I remember from that night is me sitting on the couch and looking over at my friend and asking him where everyone went. I think at the time most people went out to go smoke, and I don't smoke, so I wasn't there. And the friend that I asked the question to just looked at me and answered the question, and then that's that. I do not remember anything after that, and the next memory is me waking up at around 5 a.m. on the floor. You know, I obviously woke up super confused, and I also woke up to a big pile of throw up right next to my head. And obviously the first thing I thought was, oh shit, that was me. But luckily I ended up realizing it wasn't me that threw up, and it was the friend that I was drinking heavily with that threw up. But at the time I didn't know that, and I was panicking so hard. I was just looking around, and there was just a bunch of people asleep everywhere in the house. For some reason I thought this would look cooler than it does, but you know what, for now I'm just gonna keep it. And then eventually I made my way to the toilet because I really needed to piss. And when I opened the toilet door, to my surprise, I found my friend that I was drinking heavily with on the floor without his t-shirt on. You know, I thought I was the only one that was really fucked up that night, but oh my god, he was way worse than me. At the time, as I said, I really needed to piss, so I just walked over him and I just used the toilet and made my way out. Then I just went back into the room, and eventually he woke up and he came in, and we both were just trying to figure out what happened the night before. When I told him that I found him dead asleep on the toilet floor, he just started laughing and asked me why I didn't wake him up, and honestly I did not have an answer for him. I didn't even think of doing that once. I was just a man that really needed to piss. We were just sitting there for a while because it was super early, but eventually people started waking up slowly, and we started asking them what just happened. And they pretty much just couldn't stop laughing and showed me photos of me completely dead on the floor from the night before. And it was super embarrassing. What pretty much ended up happening was I just fell asleep on the floor so super early in the night. I thought I just completely blacked out. I was awake the whole time, but apparently as I got drunk, I pretty much just went onto the floor and just fell asleep, while my other drunk friend was just being an absolute menace. And yeah, that was my introduction to alcohol, and it was not the best introduction. But obviously as a normal teenager, I did not use that as a learning experience and continued to drink alcohol. The next story I have for you guys is when my friend first moved to the UK. I was super hyped because he was moving to the same city as me, and at this point, I was the only one from my high school that was in the city. Wait, bro, no way these guys are back again. I'm not gonna kill you like I killed your brother last time, but please just go away, man. So pretty much there's not much to this story. It was just a normal club night that we ended up going to just to celebrate his first day here. You know, we got a bit too hyped, and I ended up super drunk and blacking out. The next thing I remember is waking up on my friend's floor at 9 a.m. just completely confused on what happened. And I was looking around for my friend because I was in his room, but I didn't see him. I ended up looking up and saw that he was doing an online class at 9 a.m. at his seat. And when we made eye contact, he was just like, oh, what's up, bro? You know, he was acting like it was a normal thing for me to just be on his floor. He ended up explaining to me how we all ended up in his apartment after the club, and I just was super drunk, so I did not want to go back home. And I decided it would be better for me to just sleep on the floor. You know, was it the most comfortable sleep? No. But would I do it again? Hell yeah. As much as I do remember, that night was a great night. I'm gonna go look for some more sheep so I can make some more paintings. The next story was also in university, and this time it was when we decided to go to a club that we've never been to before. Again, it was just like a normal club night where we just pushed it a bit too far, and I ended up blacking out. But this time when I woke up, it was 6 a.m. and I was on a beanbag in my friend's apartment. Why are there so many of these fuckers? Two of my friends were still awake talking to each other, so I looked at them and I told them that I need to go use the toilet, and I went and did my business in the toilet. But when I came out, they were no longer there. You know, in my head, I just assumed that I took way too long and they just went to sleep. sleep because it was around 6 a.m. or 6:30 by then. And because everyone was asleep, I just decided to go home because I had nothing else to do. When everyone woke up, I decided to call them and ask them what happened last night. And they just told me that we got super drunk and I just slept on the beanbag. So I ended up mentioning to them how they were still awake when I went to go use the toilet. And this is the part that completely messes with my head. They both told me that that never happened. And obviously I was like, what do you mean that never happened? I genuinely remember saying to you guys, I need to go use the toilet. And they were like, no, you fell asleep on the beanbag and we just went to sleep right after. And you know, obviously I didn't believe them and I just assumed they were messing with me. But my third friend that did not hear the conversation came in and pretty much said the same thing. So I was pretty concerned because I was wondering who I was talking to because I definitely knew I was talking to someone. I think what ended up happening was that I just woke up and I was super drunk when I woke up. And those two feelings together probably just made me hallucinate people. Yeah, so imagine there's like a camera in that room. They would just see me talking to no one. These paintings are amazing, man. And yeah, rightfully my friends still make fun of me for that day. I 100% remember telling them that I need to use the toilet and them acknowledging that I'm going to the toilet. And I just find out that that just never happened. For the next story, I need you to keep something in mind. I pretty much never throw up from alcohol and I've only actually done it once. Well, twice, but I once threw up the day after the night out. So I've only thrown up on the same day as a night out once in my life. And this is that story. So pretty much we were in a pretty big group and we decided to go get some Indian food. So we went to an Indian restaurant and this was already pretty late and spontaneously we decided we wanted to go to the club afterwards. And so we did. And if you've never drank alcohol before, it's pretty much a rookie mistake to have such a heavy dinner right before drinking. We were at the club and we started drinking excessively again, obviously. And I blacked out once again. And this time I woke up at my house and I was super surprised because I don't know how I got home. And when I woke up I had a feeling that I had thrown up, but I didn't remember anything, so I wasn't sure. But for some reason I had a gut feeling that I threw up. But you know, there were no signs of it or anything, so I didn't really think of it much and I started rolling over to get out of my bed. And this is when I looked over at my floor and my floor was full of throw up. I was so disgusted and it took me forever to clean it up. But I eventually got the job done and I called my friends asking them what happened during the night out. You know, they pretty much said it was just a normal night, but then they also mentioned that once we got back to their apartment, I was throwing up like crazy in the toilet. And obviously I apologize, but these guys are alcoholics. They didn't care at all. They were just so happy that I got to that state. You know, those guys are maniacs. If someone threw up at my house, I'd be pissed. I also ended up staining their welcome mat into the toilet. So yeah, it was pretty brutal, man. Luckily, since then, I haven't thrown up from drinking again, so it looks like I've learned my lesson. The last story that I have for you guys today is from a club night back in Thailand. So this was last summer, and it was right at the beginning of summer when we all just came back from university. It had been a while since we all saw each other, so we decided to celebrate by going to a club. The night started off with us just going to a few bars, and then eventually ending up at the club. As we walked into the club, we knew it was about to be an amazing night because the music was so good. Most clubs that we end up going to in Thailand don't have the best music, but this club had amazing music, so we knew we were about to have a great night. In Thailand, in most clubs, you need to get a table, so we were just around the table drinking our drinks. And an hour in, most of our friends started feeling the alcohol, and we all were having a great time. I was still sober at this point, but I was still having the time of my life. Is this just the one guy? Where's the rest of the gang, bro? So an hour in, me and a friend noticed that everyone else had stopped drinking or just slowed down a lot. And we were the two most sober people and we had so much alcohol left. So we knew we had a job in our hands. We knew we had to finish the alcohol before we left the club. So we started drinking like crazy. And half an hour after that, my friend got completely fucked and I was still okay-ish. I started feeling the alcohol, but it wasn't anything crazy. Then I was amazing and I started slowly feeling the alcohol more and more, and you know, the night just got better and better until I woke up on my friend's couch. Yeah, the last thing I remember is just having a great time at the club, and then I just woke up on my friend's couch. And the thing was, this was the wrong friend's house. Before we went into the club, I agreed on staying over at another friend's house. But when I woke up, I was just at someone else's house. So obviously I asked him what had happened and how we got home. And what he told me was that after the club, we ended up going to a party street in Thailand. And we stayed there for a couple hours. And I have zero memory of going anywhere after the club. So I naturally thought he was joking until other people in the group chat started saying that happened as well. And I couldn't believe it. This was the first time in my life where I forgot such a huge chunk of the night. But even though I forgot, I still had the best time of my life. And if I had to choose what my favorite night out ever was, it would probably be that. Even if I don't really remember much. The parts I do remember, I know it was an amazing time. I asked my friend how I was acting throughout the night because I don't remember, and he ended up telling me that I was just super quiet. He said he couldn't even tell that I was drunk. I was just smiling a lot and I was just quiet. And that's what a lot of my friends say. They say that they know I'm super drunk when they see that my eyes have got a bit smaller and that I'm just smiling a lot. Apparently that's my tell. And being on that topic, I find it fascinating how different people act differently when they're blacked out. As I said, I don't really do much and I'm just happy to be there. I have friends that get super aggressive when they're drunk. You know, from here the house doesn't actually look too bad. Sorry, yeah, so I have friends that are not even functional anymore when they're super drunk. Like, we pretty much have to drag them home every single time. I've got friends that just get super hyper. Yeah, you get the point. It's just kind of crazy how people have different reactions to alcohol. Some people become become like a whole new person. You know, and as much as I hate blacking out because I don't remember anything and I just don't know how I acted, I actually do love the debrief sessions that happens the next day. You know, when everyone's just super hungover and we're all just on the couch and we're just not moving from the couch and we're all working together as a collective to figure out what ended up happening. And as I said, I am super heavyweight when it comes to drinking. This means that if I don't remember anything, most likely my friends don't remember anything either. And usually it's just like a hilarious moment the next day where we all have no idea what just happened. Also, to add on to this, it's actually quite funny when you wake up drunk. That feeling is just crazy. For me personally, when I'm at that state, I just find everything funny. I actually have a pretty funny story for this. There was a time after a night out where I woke up with one sock and I had no idea where my wallet was or where my phone was. And I was on a bed that I've never seen before. You know, when I started looking around, I started figuring out that I was at my friend's apartment. And as I walked out the door to see if anyone was around, another friend looked at me and just said, "Oh, okay, I know what happened now." What he meant by saying this was that he was also blacked out. And because I was there at that apartment, he knew that I was blacked out as well. So he just assumed that we had a crazy night. And that's when I told him that I'm still very drunk, and he looked at me and started laughing because he felt the exact same way. And we made it to the kitchen, and that's where we saw another friend. And usually this friend is the one that's always drunk and doesn't remember anything. But this time he ended up telling us what was happening, and I could not believe what I was hearing. Pretty much it was a crazy night, but it was hilarious when we were hearing everything. And it's always nice to know that you're not the only one that was super drunk. This might sound like that I'm promoting alcohol. I'm really not. You know, I've had some really bad times with alcohol, but today I just wanted to make a lighthearted video where I shared some funny things that happened. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to wrap the video, guys. Let me know down in the comments if you have any funny drunk stories. And if you ended up enjoying this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you're still watching till now, you're definitely enjoying this video, so you might as well click on the video that just popped up. Or don't. It's obviously up to you. Thank you guys for watching and have a great night. Peace.